Hey guys, welcome back. I want to share with you an interesting book I finished reading recently. The book is called Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. It's a book about business and it goes into the two types of personalities that leaders have in organizations. And in the book, the author refers to these personalities as leaders who are diminishers and leaders who are multipliers. And I want to share just some reflections from me reading that book, especially now that it's been about a year and a half since I've been working for myself. And there's a lot of things that I got from the book that really apply, but not just in business. I've noticed that they also apply to pretty much anything that involves people, which is all of life, relationships, your family, work, friends, etc. And that's mainly the reason why I think it's worth sharing. Also, excuse the voice, I'm still fighting the sore throat, but the work needs to be done. So, going back to the book, like I said, it's a business book. The author talks about the personalities, the diminishers, and multipliers, and essentially what distinguishes one from another is the ability of each to get the most out of people. For example, the type of leaders that the author that she refers to as multipliers are those leaders who naturally are able to get the most out of those around them. Leaders that draw out the best in their employees, in their team, that inspire other people to give 110% without it being forced, essentially. And then diminishers are the contrary, are the type of people who suppress directly or indirectly those around them, maybe because they don't know how to lead, they don't necessarily have the right people skills, or they are just too dominant of a personality that they don't leave room for others to shine. Now, I started reading the book based off a suggestion from a friend that I met recently. And initially, my intention with the book, just we were talking about business, and he suggested that I read it just as a way to get a better perspective on hiring people and how to identify strengths and weaknesses relating to working with your team members. But I found the book to be much more valuable than that because it also gave me a chance to reflect on the way that I interact or have interacted with, let's say, my girlfriend, my family, my brothers, or even my ex business partner. And it's very interesting because the author breaks down five key traits of each of the leaders, and depending on how developed you are on each trait, I think they're like, getting the most out of people, talent magnet, retaining people. I can't really remember the other two, but it's a breakdown of five traits that classify you into one or the other. Now, this is not something that's binary, I wanted to mention. It's not that you're either one or the other. Typically, people will have traits of both personality types. It's just that you'll lean towards one more than the other. But that can be fixed, and the book talks about that as well. I'm gonna share two stories that I find that relate to what I got from this book. So number one is that recently I was talking to my parents. Typically talk with my parents once a week, and my mom was sharing how my younger brother, out of the blue, signed up for a marathon, like 5 kilometer race. And he didn't tell anyone that he was going to run the race. And when he finally told my mom the day of the race, my brother is about 17, just for context. My mom was concerned because he had no prior experience running a marathon. Like, he does sports and all, but no formal training for a marathon. That was one thing. And the other was because my brother, during him signing up to the marathon, he was asked basically like, okay, how fast do you think you can run the marathon? And he said just like, oh, I can run it in 30 minutes. And when he told this to my mom, she was shocked and she was like, that's impossible. You don't even run, you don't practice, you're not going to be able to run in 30 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And it's funny because you would expect to have support to be able to go to someone that you trust and have them, hey, I think you can do it. Like, I've seen you work, you have good athletic ability. It's pretty possible, instead of just immediately shutting down the the possibility of him achieving that. And maybe, it's just me reaching, but I related that to the book, and I was like, why, before running the race, who has a higher chance of winning or running the race, completing the race in the time that he said he was going to do it? The person who, his leader, or let's say coach. My mom wasn't really coaching him, but let's say, you know, if you had a coach and the coach is like, nah, you can't do that, you can't do that, or a coach that's actually, yes, you can do that, we can keep working, we can actually get some extra training time and then rest the day before, like looking for a solution instead of finding reasons as to why it can't be done. So that's one thing, and that just got me thinking. It's like, if if I was training, let's say someone like my brother, I would be looking for ways to help him, because in his mind he can do that. So why would I inject the negative possibility into him? That just makes no sense. And it's just a scenario where typically, even in schools, like teachers or coaches of sports teams will impose their own limits into those of the students, members, etc. Just something very curious that got me thinking about that. And the other story is just me reflecting on my past year with my business partner. I don't think I mentioned it, but yeah, I used to be working with, when I moved originally to Colombia, I started a business and I had a business partner. But over the past year, and at least specifically over the past 3 months, we decided that it was best to part ways, and we're no longer working together. We're just working on ourselves. And the book also gave me a chance to reflect on a lot of things that happened during that year, specifically when it came to moments where we disagreed on a decision, or things that, I was in charge of certain things and he was in charge of certain others. And then that also meant we had employees under each of us based on the respective areas, and just analyzing, okay, few things, what could I have done better, what could he have done better, or what areas maybe I feel like I acted like a diminisher, or that I actually succeeded in being a multiplier. And same with my partner, that maybe the relationship wasn't necessarily the right fit after all, despite, initially thinking you always think it is. But maybe it turned out that after a year we found out that it wasn't. And maybe the pairing of us two together was shifting us in the negative, or towards the diminisher direction. And it's just something that really, really got me thinking after I finished reading it, because just analyzing how the past 3 months have been after the separation, it's definitely been different, and I would say it's actually been better, because I believe that, you know sometimes the people with the highest IQs or the highest, technical capabilities are not necessarily the best suited for certain roles, because in life everything is about people. And if you don't necessarily, you might have the technical acumen, you might have the IQ, but if you don't know how to deal with people, you can't really get the most out of them. If you don't know how to relate to people, interact with them, empathize, there's a lot that has nothing to do with the hard skills. It's purely soft skills. And that's something that I've also noticed was very true even when I was working a 9 to 5, that the people or the employees, my coworkers, who had the most success or the most respect weren't necessarily the most technical sounded, but they were the ones who were maybe technically balanced, but they were really, really strong in people skills. And typically, that is one trait that belongs to the multiplier, to the people that know how to get the most out of those around them. It's also given me the opportunity to reflect on a lot of things because one of my core values is that I should lead by example at work, at my relationship, in my family, and pretty much everything I do. And bringing that into the context of my relationship with my girlfriend, it's also something that just emphasizes the point that the best way to inspire people is to lead by example, or even, my younger brother who looks up to me. It's something that I keep in mind, but this book highlighted that fact even more so. And that's my self-reflection on the book. Again, I just finished reading it recently, so I'm still organizing my thoughts and takeaways on the book. But it's something that I'll definitely be pondering for the next couple days, just to look into more ways that I can continue to build on the positive traits and the multiplier traits in, with my team, in my relationship, and with my family. And with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm curious to know what other topics you guys want me to talk about. Mainly, or at least for now, I'm mostly just documenting what I'm doing, what I'm going through, what I'm thinking, what I'm working on, just because, well, first, it's an easy way to make content, and second, it also serves as a journal of sorts for myself that I can look back to, and I find that pretty enjoyable. I want to polish the videos a bit more. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be better voice wise, so that I can record, with my full energy, full voice. And let's see what else. And yeah, just a couple things that I'm working on because I'm balancing or looking for the best way to consistently record videos and create content, but without sacrificing the quality or the editing, or to not have the videos feel so much like I'm just ranting. But I do believe that sometimes, you just have to press record and start talking. Just action keeps moving forward, and naturally the skills will develop. The video, camera presence, video recording skills in this case. But anyways, now I'm really ranting. So again, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. If you made it this far, and as always, I'll talk to you on the next one.